It started out as a feeling, which then turned into a hope, which then turned into a quiet thought, which then turned into a quiet word. And that word grew louder and louder until it was a battle cry. I'll come back when it's over. No need to say goodbye. Just because everything's changing doesn't mean it's never been this way before. All you can do is try to know who your friends are as you head off for the war. The star on the dark horizon and follow the light. You'll come back when it's over. No need to say goodbye. Now we're back to the beginning. It's just a feeling and no one knows yet. But just because they can't feel it too doesn't mean that you have to forget. Let your memories grow stronger and stronger until they're before your eyes. You'll come back when it's over. No need to say goodbye. You'll come back when it's over. No need to say goodbye.
Greetings and welcome to Beacon Unitarian Universalist Congregation. To our members, friends, and everyone joining us in our virtual congregation on YouTube today.
I'm the Rev.Robin Landerman Zucker, minister of this congregation, and I will be hosting our virtual service today for July 19th, 2020, with Gabriel Hernandez, Rebecca Prizznick, and Kim Angelo providing music, and Andy Hogg preaching a sermon entitled Listening to Your Heart. This congregation is spiritually open and intentionally inclusive. Whoever you are and whomever you love, you are always welcome here. Our members and friends bring many interests, theologies, and viewpoints to our door. Here we trust you will find a common desire for meaningful community and spiritual growth and for relevant religious exploration in a framework with very flexible borders. Membership in this congregation is open to anyone who chooses to walk with us in the spirit of love, a responsible search for truth, and the pursuit of justice. As I light the chalice, the symbol of our free faith, I invite you to light a chalice at home and join me in the response words you will see on your screen. We light this chalice with a flame that draws us together. With this flame, we cut through the darkness of isolation, and we are warmed by the fires of our inner connection. And now Andy has some opening words for us.
I'd like to bring some opening words from Carl Seberg. It's entitled, Let There Be Joy in Our Coming Together This Morning. Let there be joy in our coming together this morning. Let there be truth heard in the word we speak and in the songs we sing. Let there be help and healing for our disharmony and despair. Let there be silence for the voice within us and beyond us. Let there be joy in our coming together.
Turn me loose from your hands. Let me fly to distant lands, over green fields, trees and mountains, flowers and forest fountains, home along the lanes of the skyway. For this dark and lonely room projects a shadow cast in gloom, and my eyes are mirrors of the world outside, thinking of the ways that the wind can turn the tide, and these shadows turn from purple into gray. For just this skyline pigeon dreaming of the open, waiting for the day he can spread his wings and fly away again. Fly away, skyline pigeon, fly towards the dreams you've left so very far behind. Fly away, skyline pigeon, fly towards the dreams you've left so very far behind. Let me wake up in the morning to the smell of new mown hay, to laugh and cry, to live and die in the brightness of my day. I want to hear the pealing bells of distant churches sing, but most of all, please free me from this aching metal ring, and open up this cage towards the sun. For just this skyline pigeon dreaming of the open, waiting for the day he can spread his wings and fly away again. Fly away, skyline pigeon, fly towards the dreams you've left so very far behind. Fly away, skyline pigeon, fly towards the dreams you've left so very far
Please join me in reciting the mission and covenant of Beacon. The mission of Beacon Unitarian Universalist Congregation is to be a welcoming community that embraces diverse thought, belief, and builds a just and compassionate world. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity and kindness. Thus do we covenant. Thank you.
Now is the time in our service when congregants are invited to share a personal joy or sorrow in the supportive fellowship of this community. I didn't receive any specific joys and sorrows this week, but there are certainly many things that we are holding in our hearts that are personal and tender, some of them joyful, some of them sorrowful. Many anxieties and fears and pressures and stresses and uncertainty from the COVID-19 pandemic and all of the fallout and byproducts of that. So I put in a few stones for that, because just one will not do. For our concern and our fear, for the people that hold us together and continue to hold us close, for this community that we know is there even in this virtual mode of togetherness. for all of the people in the world who are coping with the virus, both directly or indirectly. We hold you in community. We hold you in our heart. So for all of those joys and sorrows that remain unspoken because they are too tender or too private to share, let us remember that everyone is fighting their own private battle. We know not what it is, but because we're human, we know it to be true. So let us be kind, compassionate, flexible, and forgiving with one another. So I invite you now to come into that quiet space with me where we do intentional breathing, and to uncross your arms and put your feet on the floor. Close your eyes, put down anything you might be holding, and just breathe. Breathe in 4 beats deeply through your nose, and breathe out 5 or 6 beats deeply through your mouth, because increasing the exhale actually increases relaxation and openness and the spaciousness you can create. And today in particular, we're looking to create spaciousness in our heart chakras, in our heart space, where we hold both the positive and the negative of feelings, something Andy is going to be talking about quite a bit in his sermon later on listening to the heart. So now we're going to listen to the heart by breathing, by listening to a chant from Yogananda, possibly joining in, and just being in a space of intentionality, breathing, creating spaciousness. So let's breathe in 4 beats through the nose, 5 to 6 beats out your mouth in a little steady stream. Stop your thoughts. Stop and feel. Breathe and allow. Allow spaciousness and just breathe. As we breathe, we'll deepen now into this place of meditation with the chant, "Listen, listen, listen to my heart song" from Yogananda. Breathe and allow.
Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. 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 I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee, I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. 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 I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. 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 I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee.
One of the most famous stories about listening to the heart, listening to the wisdom of the heart, is Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince, by Antoine Saint-Exupéry. Many of us know this book. It's been a classic for many, many years. And in keeping with Andy's sermon today about listening to the heart and listening for the wisdom of the heart, I'm going to share the story of the little prince and the fox. It's chapter 21 in the book. So the little prince has already traveled quite a bit around this planet, trying to make some sense of himself and people and feelings, and why people do what they do. And he has a special rose that he's not so sure is special, at least not yet. So this is what happens. It was then that the fox appeared. "Good morning," said the fox. "Good morning," said the little prince politely, although he turned around and he saw nothing. "I'm right here," the voice said, "under the apple tree." "Who are you?" asked the little prince, and added, "You are very pretty to look at." "I'm a fox," said the fox. "Come and play with me," proposed the little prince. "I'm unhappy." "I cannot play with you," said the fox. "I am not tamed." "Ah, please excuse me," said the little prince. But after some thought, he added, "What does that mean? Tamed. You don't live here," said the fox. "What is it that you are looking for?" "I'm looking for men," says the little prince. "What does that mean? Tamed." "It's an act too often neglected," said the fox. "It means to establish ties." "To establish ties?" "Just that. To me, you are nothing more than a little boy who's like 100 other little boys, and I have no need for you. And you, on your part, you have no need for me. To you, I am nothing more than a fox, like hundreds or thousands of other foxes. But if you tame me, we shall need each other. To me, you will be unique in all the world, and to you, I shall be unique in all the world." "I'm beginning to understand," says the little prince. "There is a flower, a rose. I think she has tamed me." "It's possible," said the fox. "On earth, one sees all sorts of things." "But this is not earth," said the little prince. Well, the fox seemed perplexed and very curious. "On another planet?" "Yes." "My life is very monotonous," said the fox. "I hunt chickens. Men hunt me. All the chickens are just alike. All the men are just alike. And in consequence, I am a little bored. But if you tame me, it will be as if the sun came out to shine on my life. I shall know the sound of a step that is like no other. Other steps will find me scurrying under the ground, but yours will call me out like music from my burrow." The fox gazed at the little prince for a long time. "Please, tame me." I want to very much, the little prince replied, but I have not much time. I have friends to discover and a great many things to understand. One only understands the things that one tames, said the fox. If you want a friend, tame me. Well, what must I do to tame you? Asked the little prince. Good question. You must be very patient, said the fox. First, you will sit down a little distance from me, like that, in the grass. I shall look at you out of the corner of my eye and say nothing. Words are the source of many misunderstandings, but you will sit a little closer to me every day. The next day, the little prince came back. It would have been better if you had come back at the same time today. If you come back at the same time every day, then my heart will be ready for the hour of your arrival. One must observe the proper rituals. What is a ritual? Asked the little prince. Well, those are actions too often neglected too, said the fox. They are what makes one day different from another, 1 hour different from another. So the little prince tamed the fox. And when the hour of his departure drew near, said the fox, I shall cry. It's your own fault, said the little prince. I never wished you any sort of harm. You were the one who wanted me to tame you. Yes, that is so, said the fox. But now you're going to cry, said the little prince. Yes, that is so too. Then it's done you no good at all. It has done me good, said the fox, because of the color of the wheat fields and how they will remind me of your hair and of you. And then he added, go again and look at the roses, and you will understand now that yours is unique in all the world. Then come back and say goodbye to me, and I will make you a present of a secret. So the little prince went away to look at the roses. You are not at all like my rose, he said. As yet, you are nothing. No one has tamed you, and you have tamed no one. You are like my fox when I first knew him. He was only a fox, like 100 or 1,000 other foxes, but I made him my friend. And now he is unique in all the world. And the roses were very much embarrassed. You are beautiful, but you are empty, he went on. One could not die for you. To be sure, an ordinary passerby would think that my rose looked just like you, the rose that belongs to me. But in herself alone, she is more important than 100 roses, because it is she that I have watered, because it is she that I have put under the glass globe, because it is she that I have listened to when she has grumbled or boasted, or sometimes when she has said nothing, because she is my rose, my rose. And he went back to meet the fox. Goodbye, he said. Goodbye, said the fox. And now here is my secret. It's a very simple secret. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. What is essential is invisible to the eye, the little prince repeated, so that he would be sure to remember. It's the time you've wasted on your rose that makes your rose important. It's the time I have wasted on my rose, said the little prince, so he would be sure to remember. You must not forget it. You become responsible forever for what you have tamed. You are responsible for your rose. I am responsible for my rose, said the little prince, so that he would be sure to remember.
But still my beating heart, it will be better to be cool. It's not time to be open just yet. A lesson once learned is so hard to forget. Still my beating heart, I'll be taken for a fool. It's not healthy to run at this pace. Blood runs so red to my face. I've been to every single book I know to soothe the thoughts that plague me so. Sink like a stone that's been thrown in the ocean. My logic is drowned in a sea of emotion. Stop before you start, but still my beating heart. Be still, my beating heart. Oh, be still, my beating heart. Be still, my beating heart. Restore my broken dreams, shattered like a falling glass. Not ready to be broken just yet. A lesson once learned is so hard to forget. Still my broken bird, you must learn to stand your ground. It's not healthy to run at this pace. Blood runs so red to my face. I've been to every single book I know to soothe the thoughts that plague me so. Stop before you start, but still my beating heart. Be still, oh be still, my beating heart. Oh, be still, my beating heart. Oh,
It's like singing in the wind or riding on the surface of the lake. And I wriggle like a fish caught on dry land, struggle to avoid any helping hand, sink like a stone that's been thrown in the ocean. My logic has drowned in a sea of emotion. Stop before you start. Be still, my beating heart. Be still, my beating heart. Oh, be still, my beating heart. Be still, my beating heart. Be still, my beating heart. Be still, be still, be still, my beating heart. Be still, my beating heart.
My sermon today is entitled Listening to Your Heart. And I'd like to begin with a quote from Jonathan Martinson. Feelings are much like waves. We can't stop them, but we can choose which ones to surf. This has been a difficult year for many of us. The news has been filled with stories about the coronavirus, social justice protests, and threats to democracy from Donald Trump. It's a constant background noise of anger and fear. Can you hear it? We're told to keep a social distance from each other. We're literally out of touch. That can easily turn into keeping a distance from our own selves. When we're out of touch with ourselves, then we can get lost. One answer to the cacophony of anger and fear is to listen to our hearts. That sounds like a simple answer, but it's really not. We live in a world where we're bombarded by electronic media. Politicians and advertisers are competing for our attention, and the more graphic and violent the images, the more they capture our attention. The messages in the media are loud and intense. In contrast, the voice in our hearts are quiet and deep. We need to listen carefully to hear what our hearts have to say to us. What do you hear during these challenging days when you listen to your heart? Our rational minds give us objective information and facts so we can make good decisions. Our emotions give us subjective information. Our emotions tell us about what something means to us. Our emotions are usually wiser than our minds. Our hearts tell us what is deeply true for us. Our hearts speak in the language of emotions. There are 4 primary emotions: glad, sad, mad, and afraid. And fortunately, 3 of them rhyme. All of our complex emotional experiences are combinations of glad, sad, mad, and afraid. This is a color wheel. It's a color wheel that my daughter is using to teach my grandsons about art. On a color wheel, the 3 primary emotions can be blended together to create any color of the rainbow. For example, the primary colors of red and blue could be mixed together to create the secondary color of violet. The 4 primary emotions blend together to create the complex interplay of all of our emotions. That is the language of the heart. And our emotions have corresponding physical sensations in our bodies. We call them feelings because we literally feel our emotions in our bodies. For example, sadness can feel like a heavy weight on the chest, like an elephant sitting on your chest. Fear is usually associated with muscle tension, often in the stomach and abdomen. When we worry, which is an expression of fear, we may feel tight shoulders or a band of tension around our forehead. Anger is the easiest emotion to identify. When we're mad, we literally feel hotter. In fact, some people literally see red when they're angry. That's the physiology of the fight, flight, or freeze response. If you listen to your heart, observe what your body is telling you about your emotions. Where in your body do you feel your emotions? All of our emotions can vary in intensity and duration. Let's use sadness as an example of how an emotion can vary in intensity and duration. A small degree of sadness is referred to as being moody or having the blues. A greater degree of sadness we call loss. In fact, as we get older, we have losses in our lives every year, including the loss of our health. An irreplaceable loss, like the death of a husband, wife, or child, is called grief, and that can last a lifetime. When you combine loss and hopelessness, then people experience depression. Those are all the experiences of the primary emotion of sadness. Is that what you experience when you feel sad? Sometimes people funnel all of their emotions into one primary emotional response. For example, men are typically socialized to ignore sadness and fear, so they often channel those emotions into anger. Anger is an emotion that produces action, and men prefer action over the powerlessness of sadness and fear. Anger can mask deeper emotions. For women, they're typically socialized not to expressly demonstrate being mad. So sometimes what appears to be tears of sadness are actually tears of anger. Do you know people who channel all their emotions into one emotion? The language of the heart requires careful listening. The real challenge in listening to emotions is that emotions don't usually occur just one at a time. They come all at once. Sometimes their emotions feel like they're being propelled out of a fire hydrant. Let's imagine a common emotional situation in a family. Maybe you can relate. Imagine you're a parent or a grandparent of a rebellious 16-year-old boy. He told you that he was staying at his best friend's house until his 11 p.m. curfew. Now it's 1 a.m. and you are worried. He hasn't replied to your phone calls or text messages. Every time you hear a police siren, you're sure that he's gotten into a car accident. Finally, he comes in the door, and you can smell alcohol on his breath. You realize that he lied to you and he went to a party. All your fear is immediately replaced by anger. You consider handcuffing him to the freezer until he turns 18. Instead, you calm down and tell him that you'll talk with him in the morning about the consequences of his actions. But he should expect to be grounded for quite a while. Finally, you give him a hug and a kiss. Your love for him is greater than either your fear or your anger. All his emotions, fear, anger, love, flooded over you within just a couple of minutes. Maybe you can recall a time when you had a mixture of emotions all going on at once. It can be overwhelming. The last of the primary emotions is gladness. Everyone wants to experience more joy, happiness, and love in their lives. Gladness comes from enjoying every individual moment exactly as it is. Gladness comes from living our personal and spiritual values. Comes from learning to be humble and grateful. If you listen to your heart right now, what gives you a feeling of gladness? Can you hold on to that feeling? Even when it's difficult, I've been trying to listen to my heart. When I listen carefully, my heart tells me that my wife, my daughter, and my grandsons are the most important people in my life. They're the greatest sources of gladness for me. During the pandemic, I'm afraid for the health and safety of my family. I also feel grateful that I have a good job when so many people are unemployed. And truth is, I'm pretty scared about what Donald Trump is doing to my country. I'm truly sad and angry that there is so much injustice in this world. Those are the emotional truths deep in my heart. What are the emotional truths when your heart is speaking to you? One of the many reasons why I belong to Beacon Unitarian Universalist congregation is that we talk about emotions every week. Love is the spirit of this church, is more than just words. It's the starting point of our faith. Each week we talk about what makes us feel glad, mad, sad, and afraid. Rev.Robin is a master at voicing the emotions we all experience. When we come together, we share those emotions with each other. In these troubled times, listen to all of the emotions within your heart. Your emotions will remind you about what is really important. They'll help you experience the love within our congregation, within your families, and within yourself. Stop for just a moment and listen to your heart. Your heart will remind you of what is really important to you.
Hello. Please join me in singing one of my personal favorites, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell the stories from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, blessed with love and amazing grace when our heart is in a holy place. When we share the silence of sacred space and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power in each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
The spirit of generosity and gratitude flows through Beacon, whether we are here in our sanctuary or here in our virtual sanctuary on YouTube. Every week, we take an offering to support Beacon and our community partners. You can make this donation on our website, beaconuu.com. You find the donate button and donate securely through the Vanco application. Or you can send a check to us at our address here in Flagstaff. Either way, we greatly appreciate your support, especially during these challenging times. Let us imagine ourselves together here in a circle, holding hands, bound together in community. Even though we are not here physically together, we are Beacon, always connected, always a community, always held in heart, spirit, and mind. So let us imagine that community togetherness as we say the benediction. You'll find the words on the screen. Go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, return to no person evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all beings. Listen to your heart, stay well and safe. Blessed be, blessed we, and amen.